Starfish is a slang term for a butthole. You gotta be kidding me. You're gonna risk the entire mission for a mental defective dressed as a court jester.
This coming from a guy that wears a toilet seat on his head.
No funny business, Arnold. Any questions?
And?
Yes, that is your hand.
Don't you worry, eh? I'm gonna get you out of here alive.
I'm going to get you out of here alive.
This is not part of our regular series.
No.
But we decided to do something new and current because we can.
And because you were very excited to watch this. And it makes a fun video because I never saw the first Suicide Squad.
Yeah, you don't need any background on this one. So
Great.
for people who don't know, we watched The Suicide Squad, written and directed by James Gunn. It just came out last week on HBO Max and in theaters. James Gunn is now best known for the Guardians of the Galaxy movies with Marvel, Disney. He went over to Warner Brothers and signed on to do The Suicide Squad. There was a Suicide Squad movie in 2016, written and directed by David Ayers, and it kind of got some mixed reviews. So people were really excited about this James Gunn version of Suicide Squad. I guess the big question is, did he succeed in doing the same thing with the Suicide Squad?
I absolutely loved this movie. I loved it. I thought it was great.
There's something wrong with your skin.
It's just a rash.
It was definitely a movie that you could just walk into, despite the movies these days having these big comic universes and interconnected movies and all that. And technically, this is a sequel to other movies. You don't need any of that. You can just go in sort of blind, and it gives you the premise right up front. For people who don't know the Suicide Squad premise, it's basically villains get drafted to be on a sort of an elite secret commando team for the government, and they get sent on really deadly missions, and they often die.
So I got a quick question. So let me ask you then. So you've seen the first one, obviously.
Yes.
Okay, so did you enjoy the first one better than the second one, or did you like this one better?
No, this one was far better than the first.
Okay. The fact that Idris Elba, when I saw that he was the main character, I was like, yeah, like this is going to be good.
So yeah, I was glad to see him cast in this. And the cast itself is a really good cast overall. I mean, we already mentioned Margot Robbie and Idris Elba. It also has John Cena. Sylvester Stallone was the voice of the shark, which was great.
Yeah, everybody was great in it. I really liked Ratcatcher. I thought she was awesome.
She was my favorite. Yeah, and you know what's amazing? That's that actress's first picture.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is basically like her debut, and based on this, I think she could have a good career ahead of her.
Yeah, she knocked it out of the park. If this is really, I mean, she did great.
It's happening to his face again.
I enjoyed most of the actors. I enjoyed most of the performances. It did not, for me, live up to the lofty heights that James Gunn set with the two Guardians of the Galaxy movies, but there were enough really fun visual gags and clever dialogue and humor and over-the-top gore. This is a very gory movie for people who aren't into gore. It's got huge cartoonish gore. Like, think on the level of The Boys, the Amazon show that some people are very much into right now.
Like, for me, I was like, wow, this is great. I guess I have to start watching some of the other ones because this actually was fun, even though I assume they're not all going to be that sort of lightheartedness mixed with violence, I guess you would say.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely not that. This one was something of an anomaly in that regards. The lightheartedness is definitely in some of the others as well, but this one was very much sort of a cheeky action movie with crazy R-rated gore and comedy.
When the giant starfish becomes like the enemy, that's when I started to be like, all right, now we're starting to get to where I feel like it's a cartoon almost.
Oh, see, that's one of the bits that I liked because it was so outlandish. It was so ridiculous. It even kind of looked goofy because the starfish was animated with these really bright colors, and it kind of looked out of place. But, the one guy back in the lab, he says something to the effect of, we got a motherfucking kaiju up in this bitch. I liked that. But finally, by the end, the movie was embracing its absurdity. The Suicide Squad ended up being like a 5 out of 10 for me, in part because tonally, it wasn't sure what it was. So there was lots and lots of really over-the-top, really funny stuff, which is great. That's what I was kind of looking for. I mean, that's what James Gunn gave us in the two Guardians of the Galaxy movies, too. But it also kind of felt like he was directing the actors as if they were in a serious movie. Like all the actors played everything straight, while the movie itself is ridiculous. And I mean that in a good way. There was one scene in particular right in the beginning that is kind of a good example of that. And it's when Idris Elba and his daughter are arguing in prison, right? And if you just look at the scene, it's a dramatic scene. These are two dramatic actors playing out a dramatic scene. But if you listen to the dialogue, there's all these like quips and funny and clever one-liners in there. You know, she makes the one comment about watch that you can watch television on.
Yeah.
Stupid as a fucking TV watch!
If you just watch the scene and don't pay attention to what they're saying, it's a really powerful, dramatic scene. The two things kind of don't mix well. And I felt like that was the case in a lot of the movie where they're playing it really serious, and yet the stuff is absurd.
Yeah, but was he doing it on purpose? Because I kind of found it funny that they were playing it so serious, and I was like almost like they were purposely.
Oh, definitely.
You know,
no, he's definitely doing it on purpose. I just found the two clashing tones to clash. It didn't mean I didn't enjoy the movie, because actually it was like very entertaining. There was a lot to like. The shark was terrific.
Num num.
Even the polka dot guy.
Yeah, great. Oh my God. Okay, see, so one of the things that made the movie worth watching was for the mom gag at the end.
Oh my
When
God. Yeah.
the starfish was the mom. That was flipping hilarious. I legitimately laughed out loud at that. One scene in particular that I really liked was when Harley Quinn was escaping. She's going through down this hallway with a javelin, and it's basically a bloodbath, but it changes from a bloodbath to like flowers and birds, and it's all representing all the bloodshed that she's causing, but you're kind of in her head at that point. And so everything is just this, you know, there was a lot of stuff like that. I mean, James Gunn has got a lot of zany ideas, and he knows how to bring them on screen. He also has a fantastic sense for music, which is why I thought his music cues here weren't quite as on point as I've come to expect from him, because in his previous pictures, he's one of these guys who are just amazing at picking the exact right song for the exact
Isn't
right
Guardians
scene.
of the Galaxy pretty much known? That's like one of the big things about the two movies, right? Is the soundtrack for them.
Yeah, no, there was a couple of bits, like there was a couple of really good ones, and I think the Just a Gigolo scene was one of the really good ones. But then there were a couple of others where I was just like, nah, I'm not feeling this.
I just wanted to say real quick, I really wanted to hate John Cena, but I thought he did good. Like he played the part, and he looks like a cartoon superhero just because of his body shape.
Starfish is a slang term for a butthole.
I do want to say one of the other scenes that stood out to me that I really enjoyed, when the group infiltrated this camp of soldiers, and they're just going through and doing all these clever kills on the way through, that alone was entertaining, seeing the way they killed everyone. But then the gag at the end.
Yeah, that's real good. I almost don't want to like reveal it, even though we have spoilers. I just would rather almost not even talk about how that ends. But that was real well done.
Yeah, that was another excellent moment where I was like, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, and you're cringing because you don't know how they're going to answer what's going to happen because of it. It's just funny.
I thought that whole opening scene with the other team just getting totally chopped down was terrific. Like the melodrama with Weasel, what a great character.
What is that like? Is that a real character?
I have no idea. This is a DC Comics thing, and I'm a Marvel Comics guy, so most of this stuff is just over. I don't know the lore and all that stuff. So if that was an actual character, I have no idea. And even like the starfish, that's real.
I kind of assumed it had to be, because I just felt like they wouldn't have made, because at first I was like, is this some sort of Stay Puft Marshmallow Man thing going on? Because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's completely absurd, which I liked the absurdity. Like when that thing started stomping around, I was like, okay, this is so stupid. Like I'm totally on board with this. I'm glad you enjoyed it. After watching it, like I'm not surprised. It intends to be nothing other than fun. That's it. It's just a fun movie.
It's just a good time.
Yeah. That's all it sets out to do. It's a good hyper violent, bloody, good time. And I say those in a positive way. It's going to turn some people off, like people who aren't into that, but it's like super cartoonish. I think people just looking for a goofy, fun time will probably end up enjoying this. If people who enjoyed Guardians are thinking about going into this, just understand that it's not as lighthearted and charming as Guardians. This is a little different, but it is still in the same wheelhouse. It's also not like, it's not a dark, cynical movie by any means.
Yeah, and if you're someone who, like me, who doesn't even watch these type of movies, these superhero movies, I would say give it a shot too, because I had a great time. I really did. It was
Good.
a lot of fun.
If you watch the Suicide Squad, let's yap about it in the comments below. I want to hear about people who hated it, people who loved it, people who were and all the in between. We can have the big DC versus Marvel movie debate down there too, because that's always, an endless good time. So check back in regularly for our weekly ongoing movie clips.
Yes, that's it. Thanks for hanging out with the movie club.
What are you doing back in prison house?
I got road rage in a bank. Oh, so sorry.